guy with that camera right there.
Hi.
If you know musicians or artists around town, please share that this place exists with them. What was the first song that you ever wrote, and when did that happen?
I think the first song I ever allowed myself to finish, and it kind of goes back to that quote, as I would always kind of cut myself off, was a song that I wrote called "Year From Now Me," and yeah, I wrote that song in a place of not really knowing where I was at or where I wanted to be, but feeling like there was something later on. So maybe I'm not a singer-songwriter yet, and I wouldn't take that role, but I'm definitely a person that is writing and playing and having a lot of fun with it. Dabbling, kind of falling out, dabbling back, but this is the year for me.
Okay,
to dive a little
that.
bit deeper. Never sang a happy song, 'cause happy's a long way from home. You're the warmest cold I've ever known, warmest cold I've ever known, warmest cold I've ever known. Year from now, me laugh at this. Year from now, me drink to this. Year from now, me say yeah, something new. 'Cause I've been running, tripping, falling. Got no religion, but I'm praying. Bet all my money on you. Bet all my money on you, darling. Year from now, me strong, humble. Year from now, me Colleen, Colleen. Me home, 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 home. 'Cause you're my favorite daydream. You're a happy ending. Ring around the rosy by the bay, yeah. Take me away with the train. I don't know you, but I want to. Oh. Year from now, me, yeah. Year from now, me, oh. Year from now, year from now, year from now, me. I know you're out there happy. I know you're proud of to send me. Year from now, me. Year from now, me, yeah. Said I know you're out there happy. I know you're proud of to send me. Year from now, me. Year from now, me, yeah. Yeah, year from now, me, oh, year from now, me, yeah, year from now, year from now, year from now, me. You're my favorite daydream. You're a happy ending. Ring around the rosy by the bay, yeah. Take me away with the train. I don't know you, but I want to. Year from now, me. Year from now, year from now, year from now, me. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Next song I will sing for you all. It's called Edge. Slipping on broken glass. Can't believe the time that's passed. That I let you lie to me. Your love is like thick black smoke. Breathe you in and not choke. Gotta let you get the best of me. Fumbled in your lies. Kind eyes in disguise. So could you look me in my eyes? And you of the bed. I can talk on the edge of the bed. I'm numb on the edge of the bed. Yeah, yeah. We're at each other's throats again. Hung your picture on the wall. Slam the door, hit the floor. I hate what it did to you. I hate what it did to the way we could be. But you complete me. But I woke up on the edge of the bed. I can talk on the edge of the bed. I'm numb on the edge of the bed. Yeah, yeah. We're at each other's throats again. Hung your picture on the wall. Slam the door, hit the floor. I hate what I did to you. I hate what I did to the way we could be. But you complain me. But I woke up on the edge of the bed. I can talk on the edge of the bed. I'm numb on the edge of the bed. Yeah, yeah. We're at each other's throats again. You pick me up to put me down and walk around me like you can't see me. So much for caring about me. Hung your picture on the wall. Took your picture off the wall. Thank you.
I grew up playing music very young, and I started writing songs very young. More in the background, started with like punk and moved on to more like synthetic things, and I've done instrumental music for short independent productions, and maybe only within the last few years I've taken a more minimalistic approach to making songs that are presented in this fashion. So I do, but it's a new thing to me, and sometimes I kind of want to pull the eject plug and go back and hide behind computers, and but yes, I do. And
You think you're gonna?
no, I'm not gonna pull the eject tonight. No, this is a style I'm committed to, but it's new enough to me where basically my writing spurts come, and when they don't, I take the back seat to referring to myself that way, because sometimes I just don't feel like one because I'm not writing songs. I'm more like making noises and hiding away at home.
Absolutely. And first song that you ever wrote, do you remember that?
I do. It was called Family Trip. I wrote it in 1999 when I was 12 years old, and it was in a stark protest to a family vacation to go to Disney World. I lived in Virginia at the time, and I was under the impression my parents were going to leave me home alone so I could smoke a bunch of weed and like do whatever I want. Yeah, I started young. I started very young. But then like the night of, they said, no, actually you're going, and I stayed up all night and wrote that song, which I can still play. I won't play it for you tonight. Maybe it's back in the alley afterwards or something. And it just took me years to figure out how to create something honest that's saying something without having to like turn dials and press pedals and run around the stage like a goofball. I moved to Michigan after Chicago and lived on a little property and like cleaned stalls and like horse stalls and worked on cars for money, and then kind of started doing like an acoustic live act, brewery gigs, like 3-hour, $300 gigs, and I did that primarily as a source of income for a while. And then finally produced an EP. I'd been home recording since I was like 14, and finally put like a cohesive piece of work together called Decadent Poverty. It's on Spotify. It's my only release right now. I have other goofy things on SoundCloud. It has a little radio play still in West Michigan area, and I got a little traction, and then in true fashion for myself, as an escapist, I moved away and left any progress I had made behind. Came out here with my wife, and now I'm trying to kind of refocus my efforts and become more consistent.
This is the start of that.
Yeah, this is a great start to it. The padding of down puffy coats that absorb these people. I swear by God they've got some antidote. They stand huddled round a Bible. Oh my God, of course I do this. Oh my God, it's not my thing. Huddled round a Bible outside the local abortion clinic where they damn others for their mistakes so that the sky ghost will not forsake them. I say go on, get your own life. Go make your own kids to berate. 'Cause there's no need for all of this confusion outside this little clinic by the interstate. I said go on. I said go on. Maybe one day you'll wake up and feel foolish for what you've done. Oh, can't you see that it's cruel? Or just the least bit ignorant? 'Cause your archaic set of values should weigh in on another's predicament. Society's on a backslide. Oh, how us humans seem to revert to our worst possible nature. So I keep on adding to our miserable hurt. I say go on, get your own life. Go make your own kids to berate. 'Cause there's no need for all of this confusion outside this little clinic by the interstate. I said go on. I said go on. Maybe one day you'll wake up and feel foolish. He said maybe one day you'll wake up and feel foolish for what you've done. Sorry for that brain fart. All right, this next song is kind of a long time in the making. I've been done with it for a while, but I started this song, at least the chorus of it, I made when I was like 20, so 13 years ago. And a few years back, I revisited it because it just seemed poignant, like just in the chorus, and I think you'll understand what I mean. This song's called Adam La Bamba.
Well, the summer blew through today, and it's hard to speculate why I just don't feel the same. 'Cause with alcohol and atom bombs, it's hard to feel sane. Oh, I can't make it, man. I can't even fake it the same way. No, 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 no. Cellular dependencies, hyper-technologies, reality shows in HD. And with our president, his Twitter thoughts and Insta everything, I wanna vacate, man. I wanna vacate the whole goddamn scene. Well, an alarm wakes me up. I get up and go to work. And then when I get home, man, I sit here alone with only my phone to make. I make it tell me what I'm worth, yeah. Ooh. So hush, hush now, my little one. I hate to hear you cry. 'Cause I need a moment's peace and quiet. So take your flat screen pacifier and zone out for a while. I won't be bothered, no, to father nor master your sweet growing mind. 'Cause an alarm wakes me up. I get up and go to work. And then when I get home, man, I sit here alone with only my phone to make. Well, I make it tell me what I'm worth, yeah. Ooh. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Yeah, guys, don't be afraid to pile in. Come smell my breath if you want to. It just smells like PBR. It's not so bad.
Could be worse.
Mm-hmm. Oh, definitely. This song, I debated on whether or not to play, but I felt compelled to. It sounds dramatic to say compelled, but it's a new song, and I was gonna play one of my other older, sort of sarcastic tunes like I've been playing. But I've been trying to use a different voice and different lyrical content. This song is based on, or loosely inspired by, is a better way to put it, Bukowski's Ham on Rye. It's called Cheap Christ. You lay me down in a watered lawn. You lay me down in fresh cut vegetation, like a cheap price, like a cheap price. some kind of cheap Christ, like a cheap Christ, the cheap Christ, like a cheap Christ. Portrayal of a boy caught in the body of a full-grown man. So go and lay me down. Go and lay me down. Yeah, go and lay me down. I wanna sleep.
Here, we've been friends for a while, and I honestly see him as a brother, and sometimes I forget that he is not. So he has gotten to see the worst of me at times.
Oh, it's bad.
It's true. But you know what? I've always seen the best of him. He's just one of these musicians and artists and singer-songwriters that remains very constant and very true to his craft and his art, and is always seeking to support others and be there for others, and so thank you.
Thank you. I feel kind of bad about saying that.
What you said about me to
What I
someone
said
else
about you.
is fine. Okay.
Kind of coming back to haunt me.
We'll let that lie. It's fine. So I'm gonna ask some questions, but I'm gonna let you kind of lead the way, because Ben here has, from the beginning of getting to see, well, from when I first met him, he had already been a songwriter and been in bands for a while, and he can tell you more as he chooses. I'll let him kind of lead the way, but he had also kind of taken a hiatus. I'm not sure about all of the details of that, but life is kind of like that, and the struggle of an artist, and it gets really lonely and hard at times, and you question everything, and our culture and society, I don't think, is super supportive of it, but maybe that's part of what makes it beautiful and part of what attracts us to it anyway. So Ben, do you consider yourself a singer-songwriter?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
It was specifically 2014 when it switched in my head that I was like, I'm gonna start calling myself a singer-songwriter. I've always considered myself a musician. Pretty much you can cut and paste. I mean, he's a bearded, handsome man who sings songs. So I was like, all right, that's my story, pretty much. I'm handsome. You know, oh, come on. But yeah, I've been playing music ever since 99. It's kind of funny you said 99, and I was like, me too.
No shit.
And I got like super excited because I even wrote a song.
Now I'm having a hard time deciphering between the two of you.
Weird.
It's like,
They might be the same person.
Ben, what are you doing over there?
We split
before
the show. But
We'll be hugging later.
but so back in 1999, my dad bought me a guitar, and I was always listening to old blues songs in his car, and then he was like, you know, you should try and write a song, and it was terrible. First song I ever wrote was awful, and the first like 100 songs I wrote were awful, and And then and I kept on going, but I kept playing music and traveling in punk rock bands, which I thought were so hard at the time. And I look back, and it was basically Blink-182. And where I grew up, if you weren't playing Blink-182 or System of a Down, you weren't playing in bands. And so I had to play those bands. I loved playing those bands. And then I wanted to write my own stuff because of my dad. I played drums before I played guitar. I should probably mention that. And I wanted to play guitar, so I started writing my own songs, and nobody ever wanted to play with me. So I was called the Benjamin Project. I thought I was super cool. Woo! And I've always considered myself a musician. And then 2014 came, and I had like a crazy health thing. I had multiple brain aneurysms, and I was in the hospital for a month. And it was when I came out, the first place I went after leaving the hospital, it was really funny. I went to a studio that I record at up in Hollywood, and took my family to go visit the guy. And the first thing was I said, I want to write something for you, not for me. And he was like, okay, I got this artist that needs a song. So he sent me the tracks, and I wrote for it. And that was when I came back with the finished, completed song to pitch to the other artist that he works with. I was in the room, and everybody was like, oh, hi, I'm the bass player, I'm this, and you? And I was like, I'm the songwriter. And I was like, and it was that moment, I was like, oh,
Yes.
it felt so right. So that was me becoming a songwriter, and that, or at least stepping into those shoes and claiming it. And I felt like it was important for me, because before I felt like I was dilly-dallying and just hanging around, and I really I've always wanted that to be a passion, so why not own it? And that was the decision in 2014.
So what do you think made it transition from dilly-dallying to being like, no, was it having actual real-life opportunities popped up that it was like, oh, I'm in a effing room, and I'm saying I'm the songwriter with all these people that are...
I wrote a song back in the day that I was like, I wrote this song for Darius Rucker. And then, and then I was like, but I never actually sent it to him or anything. And then one day, in 2014, I wrote him this letter, and I was like, hey, I almost died. And then I woke up from my ICU internment, and I decided I wanted to pitch this song to you. And it was like super, super sappy, and I was like, I'm sure he's going to respond to this.
For sure.
He totally didn't. His tour manager did, and said, this is not his email. And I said, oh, cool. But that was the closest I had at the moment, and I was like that. Once I realized that, I was like, why am I not spending more time harassing people that need songs written for them? And so now I'm in the process of still making more and more demos of the songs that I'm writing and sending them out to Nashville, and where that's kind of the opportunities now.
Yep.
Woo! Woo! Yeah!
Woo! So one more question before I let you
Before
take it
without
away
further
here.
ado.
Before without further ado. You know, when things are falling into place and it's going well, it's easy to not question anything, and to see the road and just keep going for it, and not let negativity make its way in there. And for anyone that, if there's folks or artists or musicians that are maybe at a point where they're like, gosh, do I keep doing this? Or have you ever felt like that? And if not, I'm sure that you happen to have, right? But you know, what made you say whatever to be to the point where it's good now? Or what would you advise someone if they're feeling that way, what to do?
Okay, so for me, every artist that's been an artist for more than like a year will have a moment that they're like, why am I even doing this? Like, should I keep going? I should just quit. Most of my friends have all gone up and got adult jobs and quit doing music, and it's sad, but at the same time, I think every time I contemplated quitting, I've just been like, if I don't do it, I wasted so much of my life. And it would be this constant argument with myself of saying, I wasted so much of my life. And it got to the point where that wasn't a good enough argument anymore, and I was ready to quit. And then I met my wife, and she loved that I was a musician, and she was the first, Yeah, that's her right over there. So she was the first person, the first girl I've ever been around that woman. This was some years ago. But most girls that I had known before, they loved the idea of falling in love with an artist, but they hated the idea of being in a relationship with an artist. At least just my experience. They always would be trying to talk me out of being an artist. And she was the first person I ever met that she's like, yeah, that's badass. You should do that. And then when I would have times when I'd be like, it's not good enough, that argument isn't good enough, like I don't know if I can keep doing this. She's like, you have to, you gotta keep doing it. And she's been the greatest support and encouragement. So anytime I get bummed out, she pumps me up again. I'm like, all right, we're gonna keep doing this. And she believed in me in times when nothing was happening, and then now that slightly more things are happening, that she's still rooting me on and giving me support. So that's what did it for me. So find a good wife or husband or lover or whatever. So.
Without further ado, Ben Allen.
So I'm gonna sing the most recent song I wrote, and it's a close friend of mine growing up. Their parents were very, very hostile towards, we'll just call it people who are different. Anybody who's different, they would say was the downfall of America and that kind of stuff, and sin was the cause of all natural disasters. I'm sure everybody has heard of people like this. Well, I grew up near some of these people, and it was sad because my friend could never come out to their own parents because they would get disowned, and finally, after much talking, they went and came out to their parents and got disowned. And this is like a horrible telling of this story, but it was one of those things that got me thinking. I've been thinking a lot about faith and where faith intertwines with culture and my life and the lives of those around me. And so I thought, what if that was me? And so I wrote this song. It's called Sticks and Stones, and it's about that. And I guess you'll figure that out. But I used to stay up nights staring at the Bible, searching those little red words for the ones that could make me clean. I dim the lights and I pray for revival. But nothing ever happened to me. So low as I walk through the shadow, won't you please just let me go? I'm through fending off words that hit harder than sticks and stones. So low as I walk through the valley, if there's no peace waiting for me, I'll be remembered in song as the earth sings along with my bones. I used to know these folks who pray for the rapture, when Jesus would come back and claim them as one of his own. They'd say that sin was the cause of disaster, but my sin and gave them a Sunday song. So low as I walk through the shadow, oh, won't you please just let me go? I'm through fending on words that hit harder than sticks and stones. So low as I walk through the valley, if there's no peace waiting for me, I'll be remembered in songs as the earth sings along with my bones. So low as I walk through the shadow, Lord, won't you please just let me go? I'm through fending on words that hit harder than sticks and stones. Lord, as I walk through the valley, if there's no peace waiting for me, I'll be remembered in song as the earth sings along with my bones. This is the part where I feel like a real professional. I'm changing guitars. They're tuned the exact same. So this one's called I'll Be Along Soon. Maybe we should let the whole thing go. Up in flames and up in smoke, until the ashes cover everything we know. Maybe we should let the whole thing go. Maybe we should let the whole thing hurt. Up the holy by and by, and in the funeral they'll all keep asking why. Maybe we should let the whole thing die. 'Cause I can't take this living in the middle of who I am and who you think I was. The levee only needs to break a little, what's little left of us. But I'll be alone soon, once the air has left the room. Maybe we should let the whole thing hurt, and every tear and every word, count them up and I will pay you what they're worth. Baby, we should let the whole thing hurt, 'cause I can't take this living in the middle of who I am and who you say I was. The levee only needs to break a little, what's little left of us. Maybe we should both do what we're good at, pretending you ain't found somebody else. be alone soon once the air has left the room. Once the air has left the room. Oh, look, he's changing guitars again. This guy is extra professional. So one of the cool things about my wife being so supportive is she lets me write songs about the times we fight. And she doesn't hate me for them or divorce me, which sometimes I think would be appropriate for some of the songs I've written. But I try and write some love songs every now and then to make up for it. But this is not one of those. This is actually, it has nothing to do with my wife. This was this is another cool thing, is she lets me write songs about whatever pops in my head, and this was a moment of nostalgia when I was thinking back over previous experiences in my life and people that were in it, and just I was asked to rewrite a song that I wrote like 10 years ago, and it was about some other girl, and I was like, how do I even get in that mindset of those feelings? And so I was just spent the day just stewing in like nostalgia, and I rewrote that, and then after I did it, I immediately sat down and wrote this song about feeling nostalgic, and it's called Thought You Should Know. Whoa, no. That's not what it's called. This is what it's called. See, they are tuned different. It's been a long time since I've been here, so I'll be quick, I'll be brief, and then I'll disappear. Don't you blame me if I cry a little bit when the whiskey doesn't work, because I don't forget. And I know I shouldn't call, not for nights like these, we wouldn't speak at all. Should know. So here's your picture that I tried to keep, 'cause it don't seem to show the love you once felt for me. Here's your letters I didn't read. I didn't seem to see you were hurting, and now it's killing me. And I know I should fare thee well, but I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep, and Lord knows I couldn't help myself. Take the fastest track that still brings you back. Leave the message on my phone. If you come back should know. I thought you should know. Thought you should know. Well, I'm skin and bone, and I'm still alone. Thought you should know. This is like the coolest thing ever. For me. I don't know how it is for you guys, but getting to play songs for you guys in an environment where it's not just a bar where everybody's like, yo, dude, I haven't seen you in 6 months. Come talk really loudly next to the guy singing songs, pouring his heart out. This is the dream right here.
Freebird.
Oh, God. And there he is. I told you he was like my other half. So this song I wrote right after I started watching Game of Thrones, because there's a phrase in Game of Thrones that I thought was just so damn killer. I had to put it into a song, so you can figure out what quote is in it. I drink and I know things, but yeah. So this is the song's called "My Sun and Stars." From the moment that I met you till the day that I forget you, I will not regret the way you are. 'Cause I told you that I loved you and got myself a tattoo that say that I'd be faithful with my heart. Oh, my sun and stars, you know who you are, and you know that for me that will never change. In my trembling heart, with its horrible scars that never seem to scare you away, you will always be the girl of my dreams. The secrets that I held to, all the promises that fell through, and the lies that I still tell you that I wished were still the truth. 'Cause I packed your memories in a box, and I carved the lyrics off the clock that I wish still worked to keep the time for all the songs I wrote for you. Oh, my sun and stars, you know who you are, and you know that for me that will never change. In my trembling heart, with its horrible scars that never seem to scare you away, you will always be the girl. Oh, I know you will always be. Oh, my sun and stars, you know who you are, and you know that for me that will never change. In my trembling heart, with its horrible scars that never seem to scare you away, you will always be, you will always be.
just be the girl of my dreams.